Welcome to This Explainer. Let's jump right in, guys, because today we're unpacking a really brilliant and frankly fascinating message from the creators at Growth Ascent. Right out of the gate, we're forced to deal with this harsh reality. Your future self is either going to be thanking you or completely cursing you for how you choose to spend this exact second. Every single minute you spend making excuses or, endlessly scrolling on your phone, that is time you are absolutely never getting back. So let me hit you with a quick reality check right now. What did you do yesterday that actually moved you closer to your goals? If you're drawing a blank here, the source points out a massive red flag. It means you're living under this dangerous illusion that your time is unlimited. You're kind of acting like you have forever to figure it all out. But the truth is, while you're waiting around for that perfect moment or just swiping through other people's lives, your own life is literally happening without you. All right, let's move straight into Section 1, the cost of wasted time and how you're actually stealing from your own potential. Wow, the source text really hits hard on this one. When you kill an hour doing absolutely nothing, it's not just, lost time floating away harmlessly into the clouds. It is active theft. You're quite literally stealing from the person you could become. That tiny little voice in your head saying, "Oh, I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll just do it when I have more time." It's not protecting you. Actually, scratch that. It's actively destroying your future, just one wasted day at a time. We've all heard that tired old cliche that time is money, right? Well, the creators here argue that we need to entirely rewire that thinking. Time isn't money, time is life itself. So wasting time isn't just like burning a $20 bill. It's letting a tiny piece of your potential, a piece of your actual literal life, die. And this brings us to the really insidious, hidden costs of a lack of productivity. Because when you choose the easy path, when you pick comfort over growth, or you make all these big plans you never actually execute, you are basically hemorrhaging self-respect. You are sending this subconscious psychological signal to yourself that your dreams don't matter, that your future doesn't matter, and ultimately, that you don't matter. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, busyness versus real productivity. It's time to break that too busy excuse once and for all. Okay, so there is this massive trap we literally all fall into, and it's the illusion of being busy. Being busy is just filling your day with meaningless tasks, making excuses, and basically renting your time out to whatever screams the loudest. But contrast that with being productive. That means prioritizing yourself, focusing on your growth, and actually investing your time. People aren't lazy or stupid, they just never learn to distinguish between these two modes of operating. When you say you're too busy, the harsh reality is you just haven't prioritized your own growth. I really want you to pause and let this next point sink in, because it's probably one of the most sobering thoughts from the entire piece. While you've been waiting around, hiding behind the excuse of being too busy, someone else out there with your exact same circumstances, your same challenges, and your exact same 24 hours in a day is currently building. They're growing. They are becoming exactly who you said you wanted to be. To fix this, we need to completely shift gears. Moving into Section 3, the time ownership mindset. This is all about life management over time management. So what exactly is time ownership? It's the conscious, intentional decision to dictate exactly where every single precious minute goes. It is the absolute refusal to just rent out your time. And time ownership is really the ultimate separator between the highly successful 1% and, everyone else is just existing. Top performers don't rent their best, most energetic hours to jobs they don't care about, or people who don't appreciate them, or activities that simply do not matter. They own their time. To really anchor this concept, think about time in two ways. First, think of time as water. Water doesn't just waste itself sitting in comfortable puddles. It flows with a purposeful direction. It finds the most efficient path, and it builds this unstoppable momentum to reach the ocean. No distractions. Now, contrast that with time as sand. This is how most people operate, right? They just let it slip through their fingers without even noticing, scattering their attention across 1,000 totally meaningless activities. And then they wonder why nothing significant ever happens in their lives. All right, let's get into our final segment. Section 4, the 1% choice, because the time you're waiting for is right now. Look, time is the great equalizer. Rich or poor, young or old, everyone on Earth gets the exact same daily allotment. In fact, the source points out that even if you factor in sleep, commuting, and a full-time job, the average person still has roughly 40 to 50 hours of pure free time every single week to work with. To put that into perspective, that's practically another full-time job's worth of hours. The most successful people in the world aren't magically smarter or more talented than you. They just recognized this hard truth and decided their future was vastly more important than being comfortable in the present. So, how do these top performers actually operate day to day? Well, for starters, they absolutely do not wait for motivation to strike, because motivation is totally fleeting. They don't sit around hoping for better circumstances or some lucky break. Instead, they aggressively create systems, and they use the exact circumstances they already have to push forward. They don't magically find time. They make it.
When you look at the big picture, there is a sheer, massive imbalance in how we act. 99% of people will waste their entire lives waiting for some imaginary someday when everything will be perfectly aligned. But only that tiny sliver of a 1% truly understands that someday is today. So you have to make a choice right now. Are you going to finish this explainer and go right back to your old patterns of procrastinating, or are you going to force yourself into that tiny 1%?
Before you go and check another notification, the source demands an immediate action plan from you. Step 1. Choose one important thing you have been putting off that moves you toward the person you want to become. Step 2. Do it right now. Literally, right this second. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, because the life you want isn't going to magically build itself. The person you're waiting for to save you is you. The clock is relentlessly ticking. Time isn't waiting, and your life is definitely not pausing for you to figure it all out. Every single second you hesitate is a second you are never, ever getting back. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to end this explainer, staring you right in the face. What on earth are you waiting for?